There is so much good news, so much winning out of the Trump White House right now that the mainstream legacy media can't.
Just when it seemed the chaos peaked, it erupted again. Karoline Leavitt has filed a fresh lawsuit against The View, leaving ABC in complete disorder. Whoopi looks rattled, Joy Behar furious, and Sunny Hostin silent for once. This isn't a trivial spat online. It's the second calculated legal strike straight at the network and its famous hosts. Panic spreads quickly. Reports reveal producers scrambling in non-stop meetings, advertisers withdrawing, and executives describing it as a reputation-shattering disaster. So what exactly has Karoline unleashed this round? And how did lawsuit number 2 flip ABC's media empire upside down? Stick around, you'll want to hear. Before we break it all down, do your part. Hit like to expose bias, subscribe for content legacy media avoids, and share this with anyone fooled into thinking The View is harmless daytime banter. Subscribe? Excellent. Buckle up, here comes the breakdown. Rewind to 3 days back. Another episode airs. You'd assume after an $800 million suit already shaking Whoopi in court, the co-hosts might tread carefully. But no, absolutely not. No pause, no apology, no restraint. Instead, they dive into mockery once more live in front of millions. Karoline becomes their target again. No regret, no perspective, no caution. Joy Behar lobs the opening insult. Trump's token Gen Z mouthpiece. Audience chuckles. Panel nods. Then Sunny Hostin follows up. That lawsuit? Just a Republican stunt. Finally, Whoopi, center of the storm whose own courtroom outburst went viral, grins, adjusts glasses, and quips. She's lucky we allowed her on the show at all. Cue the claps. Cue smug grins. Cue their self-satisfaction. But what no one expected. The incoming legal earthquake. What seemed like playful banter to viewers, like spicy content to producers, became ammunition to Karoline's lawyers. They didn't simply cross the line, they trampled over it proudly. Those sneers weren't petty, they were reckless legally. Within hours, Karoline's team dissected the tape, transcribed quotes, and added timestamps to filings. Each second of footage became proof fueling lawsuit number 2. And this wasn't about bruised pride. It was about showing that under legal fire, the panel still mocked and smeared, publicly, proudly, recklessly. Then boom, the thunder fell. The second lawsuit, filed in federal court, reinforced by a fierce legal crew and piles of new evidence. This wasn't merely defamation, it was a declaration of war. Karoline wasn't playing defense anymore. She shifted to attack. The claim? Retaliatory defamation. In simpler terms, they knew about the first case and doubled down anyway. They mocked, insulted, provoked. Now Karoline retaliates harder. The suit argues the remarks weren't careless. They were deliberate attacks. Allegations include malicious continuation, intimidation through defamation, retaliation mid-case, reckless disregard for facts, lasting harm to character, and permanent reputational damage. Legal precedent is cited. One attorney quoted Inside wrote, "At this stage, The View's defense is so weak, they might as well hand over the ruling by check." Brutal. Yet it deepens. Karoline's lawyers included support from ethicists, scholars, even a retired judge, all agreeing. Continuing mockery during active litigation is dangerously stupid. Insiders whisper, Whoopi may unknowingly be scripting her exit. At ABC, panic rises to alarm. Legal chaos. PR meltdown. Sponsors vanish. ABC thought the first storm was the worst. They never imagined Karoline's second strike. Now it crashes like a tidal wave.
Calls her a 10. I mean, how dare she objectify a woman with a sexist rating system, but it's such a typical thing from a...
The corridors of ABC are not merely noisy anymore. They are blazing. Sources whisper The View's set has turned into an emotional battlefield. And the real twist? Karoline Leavitt is not the one stoking the chaos. It is the very hosts who ridiculed her on air now watching their empire collapse from inside. Here is the breakdown. Within 2 days of Karoline's second legal strike, pandemonium erupted backstage. Not mild tension, not idle chatter, full-blown implosion. ABC producers, usually the composed, headset-wearing professionals, are said to be livid. Yet not at Karoline. not at her attorneys. Their fury points directly at their on-air stars. One senior staffer reportedly snapped during a debrief, slamming papers and yelling, "This is what happens when warnings get ignored." Employees described the mood as suffocating. And why not? This is no longer one claim. It is two devastating suits, both jeopardizing image, audience, and ad revenue. A leaked internal memo confirmed by multiple insiders shows ABC tried to prevent this. The memo, circulated privately in threads and hush chats, clearly read, "We instructed the panel to avoid provocative remarks about this case. They refused." That one line says it all. ABC was aware of the danger. Still Joy cracked jokes. Sunny dismissed. Whoopi smirked her way into a new case. Now executives scramble in crisis. Calls from sponsors remain unanswered. No script fits. Legal departments demand round-the-clock updates, tearing through emails, scripts, and broadcast notes like a trial already underway. Morale among staff? Below empty. One weary insider told a reporter, "We used to laugh off lawsuits. Now we're Googling exit packages." Yes, exit packages. And that panic is real. Reports claim ABC already froze internal budgets, canceled news segments, and delayed a major promotional push for The View without timeline. Security has doubled on site, not for threats but because backlash is spreading online. Angry messages, trending hashtags, viewers calling phone lines urging firings. Even loyal fans are openly criticizing. One viral reply put it bluntly, "This show was once truth. Now it's personal destruction." Petitions are gaining signatures. Pressure for Whoopi, Joy, and Sunny to resign intensifies. ABC's board is allegedly reviewing contracts, a phrase no talent wants. And Karoline? She remains silent. No interviews, no statements, no appearances. She is playing the sharpest game possible. Silence amplified by evidence. That silence now deafens. While the panel spirals, Karoline calmly watches fallout unfold. And apparently she is far from finished. For years, mainstream media giants hid inconvenient stories. But this time they cannot. The Karoline versus The View storm is far too viral, too seismic, too undeniable. And here lies the significance. This is not a petty dispute. Two separate suits. Same program. Same figure. Within weeks. The consequences threaten to rewrite daytime broadcasting, corporate duty, and live TV boundaries. Even outlets usually shielding The View now run detailed coverage. Why? Because the proof is irrefutable. Because stakes are massive. Because the internet refuses to release it. Old guard newsrooms are dragged, unwillingly, into reporting. Writers at CNN, MSNBC, even The Times scramble for analysis, quietly seeking expert commentary to shape the story. This is no longer partisan sniping. It is about defamation's reach, platform misuse, and accountability under modern broadcasting. One plaintiff, two filings, one talk show. That formula is rare. What makes it precedent-setting is deliberate escalation. Karoline launched suit number 2 after being targeted again, while suit 1 remained alive. That is nearly unheard of. Analysts predict the rulings may redefine speech standards, not just for hosts, but for podcasters, influencers, and YouTubers everywhere. If she prevails, reckless disregard for truth may face a lower bar across digital communication. Meanwhile, social media ignites. Tags like #SueTheView, #JusticeForKaroline, #AccountabilityNow, and #KarolineStrikesBack trend for consecutive days. TikTok creators dissect segments with courtroom edits. YouTubers stream lengthy breakdowns with legal, political, and PR experts weighing in. The strongest sign yet? Even some liberal voices shift. One MSNBC pundit, long defensive of establishment media, tweeted, "Karoline may polarize, but she's spotlighting a flaw we've ignored too long." Thousands retweeted. Tens of thousands liked. Another wave of scrutiny followed. Because avoiding truth is impossible now. For years, The View relied on protective coverage, firing barbs with applause and headlines. But Karoline shattered that shield. And what remains? A public reckoning mainstream media cannot dismiss. Because this case surpasses her alone. It exposes ethics, narratives, and platform abuse. And as legacy media glances in the mirror, the reflection is unavoidable.
The belief of this White House and the White House counsel's office that the president was within his executive authority to do that. He is the executive of the executive branch, and therefore he has the power to fire anyone within the executive branch that he wishes to. There's also a case that went before the Supreme Court in 2020, Scala Law LLC versus the Customs, Bureau Protection. I would advise you to look at that case, and that's the legality that this White House was resting on.
You're confident that if they bring lawsuits against you, the prosecutors were fired, that they will succeed?
We will win in court,
And
yes.
did he personally direct this, given they worked on the classified documents investigation and the election interference investigation?
This was a memo that went out by the Presidential Personnel Office, and the president is the lead.
And now ABC is staring down the nightmare scenario they never imagined they'd face. Do they save The View or kill it off? Inside network headquarters, panic has hardened into deadlock. Leaked reports say executives are locked in non-stop emergency sessions, wrestling with a decision that could permanently alter ABC's identity. They are cornered between three brutal choices. First, suspend Whoopi, Joy, and Sunny briefly. That's a PR patch job, a staged accountability move with zero long-term repair. Critics argue it reeks of desperation. Second, settle both lawsuits and issue televised apologies. That means draining tens, maybe hundreds of millions, groveling with retractions and begging advertisers to remain. Costly, painful, reputation-crushing. Third, scrap The View outright and reinvent the time slot. The nuclear solution. Some insiders whisper it's on the table because the wreckage is enormous. An urgency? It's real. Financial fallout is ruthless. Ad sales teams are panicking as sponsors walk away in droves. One insider confirmed a seven-figure contract evaporated less than 24 hours after lawsuit number 2 dropped. Another corporate sponsor declared flatly, "We will not fund shows under active defamation litigation." Viewer loyalty is imploding. Online sentiment flipped overnight. The very audience that once fueled applause is now demanding blood. Legal voices are warning management. Act now or fight lawsuits for half a decade. ABC thought they were shielded. They thought daytime sparring had no real cost. But Karoline Leavitt just proved the most powerful stage on television can, in fact, be dragged into accountability. She made the untouchable touchable. So here's the bigger question. Has Karoline Leavitt just redefined media accountability twice in one strike? Is this the inflection point, the moment corporate media finally loses its unchallenged dominance? And should ABC kill The View before it kills their brand? Tell me your take in the comments below. Because this saga is more than Karoline versus TV hosts. It's every single voice mocked, dismissed, and steamrolled by a machine that thought it could never be broken. That machine is stuttering, buckling, burning out. Because Karoline didn't just clap back. She hit back with law, proof, and lethal precision.
Vow to provide the truth from this podium, we ask that all of you in this room hold yourselves to that same standard. We know for a fact there have been lies that have been pushed by many legacy media outlets in this country about this president, about his family, and we will not accept that. We will call you out when we feel that your reporting is wrong or there is misinformation about this White House.
Boom. She's got more.
I would like to point out to each and every one of you that in 2024, when Joe Biden was in the Oval Office, or upstairs in the residence sleeping, I'm not so sure, egg prices increased 65% in this country.
Bam! It's on.
And what did The View do? They snickered, sneered, rolled their eyes, and now they're scrambling in panic mode, tossing out half-hearted, "Please forgive us" apologies and clumsy par bandages. But Karoline? She's not retreating. No TV appearances. No victim act. Just silence, while the evidence screams louder than ever. And those facts, they're devastating. So pause for a second. If one woman, a young conservative without media muscle, can shake $1 billion empire to its core not once, but twice, what does that reveal about the fragile bubble propping up corporate media? And what does it say about where the real power sits now? That's why this fight matters. Not just for Karoline, not just for Whoopi, but for every person watching wondering if maybe, just maybe, this marks the birth of a new media age where spin finally meets its match. So here's the play. Hit that like button if you're sick of hypocrisy, bullying, and smug TV echo chambers. Subscribe right now if you want to stay 10 steps ahead of the stories they'll bury. Share this with anyone still clinging to the illusion that The View is harmless daytime chatter. Because in reality, it's a legal landmine with a studio audience. And above all, don't blink. Because this isn't just courtroom drama anymore. This is an all-out war for narrative control. And Karoline Leavitt? She isn't just surviving. She's rewriting the rules of the game. Stay tuned, stay subscribed. The next explosion is coming. And if The View thinks this storm has passed,